that, for the world, is the story of a vibrant Gujarat. Robust, developed and healthy. But in Gujarat, the story is different, often withheld from the outside world. It is a story that started 10 years back, the story of silent segregation.
गंदे लोग पानी पी रहे हैं, गरीब बस्तियां परेशान हैं, दलित बस्तियां परेशान हैं, माइनॉरिटी विस्तार परेशान है।
सरकार की तरफ से ना पानी आता है, ना गटर लाइन नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं है यहाँ पे।
क्या हम आपको बता नहीं सकते कि किस कदर हम यहाँ रह रहे हैं।
कभी चीफ मिनिस्टर आते ही नहीं, वो बातें तो बड़ी करते हैं।
वो इस एरिया में इतने दुखी है कि यहाँ तो कोई हॉस्पिटल तो है नहीं, तो वो लोगों को कहाँ सुविधा मिलेगी।
There is a no gutter line, there is a no road here.
It is often said that it's easy to build a state, but difficult to build a people. Nobody doubts that Narendra Modi pioneered the building up the chimera of a successful Gujarat. But at least some of the people of his state have a different take on his claims. They say that in Gujarat, it is Gujarat versus Gujarat. It is Gujarati versus Gujarati. And a perception of right and wrong is divided along lines of religious ethnicity. Accusers say that this divide has been crafted by Mr. Modi himself.
मैं अपने विचारों में बहुत पक्का हूं, मैं सही दिशा में हूं, देश में विकास यही एक रास्ता है, मेरा कन्विक्शन है। मैं मानता हूं सब दुखों के लिए एक ही दवाई है, एक ही जड़ी बूटी है, और वो जड़ी बूटी है विकास। आज चारों तरफ गुजरात के विकास की चर्चा हो रही है। गुजरात प्रगति कर रहा है, गुजरात बहुत आगे निकल गया, औद्योगिक आगे हो गया, बिजली मिलती है, पानी मिलता है, सड़क अच्छी है। चारों तरफ लोग अपने आप बोलते हैं।
भाइयों बहनों, गुजरात की आवाज हिंदुस्तान सुनना चाहता है। ये आवाज एक इंसान की नहीं है, ये आवाज नरेंद्र मोदी नाम के किसी व्यक्ति की नहीं है, ये 6 करोड़ गुजरातियों के संकल्प की आवाज है।
Motivators say that the world of Gujarat is one of fantasy. It is run with the efficiency of an amusement park. They say if you have the ticket, you ride the exhilaration of a roller coaster. You walk into the tent of the great magician and let your worries disappear. There is opportunity at every corner, enterprise at every junction, but only as long as you have bought in nice and proper. And even for those sidelined, there is always work, however menial it might be. In the Gujarat of today, it is easy to spot the march of industry, to hear the boom of modern economy. The picture comes complete with its metal roads, high-rise residential colonies, glitzy malls, and the ghetto that is the price of non-conformity.
This is the vibrant, shining Gujarat with its metal roads, flyovers, glitzy shopping arcades, and high-rise residential colonies. It has the highest GDP in the country, and now with the excellent infrastructure that has been put in place, it's become a heaven both for the industry as well as investors.
The other side is the one bereft of basic civic amenities and municipal attention. Significantly, there are more police stations in these ghettos than either government schools, hospitals, or even a post office. It's a Gujarat where rubble substitutes for roads, where sewage seeps into homes. This is the Gujarat that is hardly ever written about. This state of the state is rarely commented upon. This is the other Gujarat, unseen, unheard, ill-documented.
This is the worst kept secret, that although there are some in the Muslim, there's a sort of creamy layer now, which may be supporting the Bohras, etc., which may be supporting Narendra Modi and which are being wooed by Narendra Modi. But the bulk of the Muslims, the vast majority, or he has not visited any of those areas. So there is a very deliberate policy to ensure that those people are kept away from the fruits of progress and modernization.
That fault lies with the Muslim leaders, not with the government. Who are the leaders of the Muslim till now? What they did for the community? What the steps they have taken for the welfare of the community? Nothing.
Successful in development, but at some cost. It is a form of ruthless development which yields enormous results, but also devastates and brutalizes a society.
It is this Gujarat we visit, poised on the verge of another election. Has Modi lived up to his promise, both in the positive and negative senses of the word? Is his state as vibrant for everyone as he claims it for himself? Our first stop is Juhapura, barely a kilometer from the upscale SG road. Juhapura is a ghetto with a predominantly minority population. In the heart of Ahmedabad, this seems to be a classic example of abject deprivation. Till 2002, Juhapura was a small ghetto, home to the poor amongst the Muslim community. The population exploded post-2002, and even by conservative estimates, the number is 5 to 6 lakhs today. The ghetto has changed dramatically. While earlier only the poor lived there, now even the economically well-off within the community have chosen to live in the ghetto, despite its obvious lack of amenities, possibly seeking security in numbers.
Muslim community is staying in one area, they want to stay in one area, the Hindus staying in one area. This Cosmo kind of a concept is gone, and it's a big loss to us.
The broad metal roads drive into a kacha road filled with rubble. The high rises give way to crumbling masonry. The pavements are heaped with garbage. The vibrant Gujarat here is totally eclipsed. Lying in the shadows of Gujarat's glitzy shopping malls is this example of civic neglect and people who rightly feel cheated of their state's destiny.
Modi only says the Gujarat signing, but just look at here, there is a lot of people here. Ask him what is a huge problem. They all says.
These appalling living conditions stand testimony of the neglect that a section of the people have had to face, they claim. Garbage lying unattended, sewage flowing into the streets and in many cases into people's homes, causing skin diseases, forcing others to take shelter elsewhere. Not just homes, sewage has even permeated through water pipes, and the water here is often undrinkable.
ये पानी आता है, ये 1 घंटा तक ऐसा पानी हमारे यहाँ आता है.
Hospitals are few and far between, and the nearest government facility is not very accessible.
है लेकिन बहुत दूर है, या प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल है.
सरकार का नहीं
कोई भी नहीं आता है, हमारी जांच करने के लिए नहीं आते खाने.
क्यों ऐसा क्यों होता है?
क्या मालूम क्या प्रॉब्लम है. बार बार लिख के भी जाते तो कॉर्पोरेटर आके देख जाते, फिर कुछ आगे कार्यवाही नहीं करते. वो इस एरिया में इतने दुखी है कि यहाँ तो कोई हॉस्पिटल तो है नहीं, तो वो लोगों को कहाँ सुविधा मिलेगी.
There are health hazards too. Several people who live here have developed skin diseases.
जो ये दोनों पाँव सड़ गए, दोनों.
The few hospitals that exist are private ones, run by people of the locality, who, after giving up hope for the government to act, have now begun to look after their own. It is the same story with schools. Residents say there is only one municipal school, that too with bare minimum facilities. Students sit cheek by jowl in dark, dingy rooms with an open drain running right around the school. Most of those who can afford send their children to private schools like Shama Primary and High School. The neglect and deprivation have had a social and psychological effect and has served to widen the chasm that exists in Gujarat. If you talk to the residents of these ghettos, the anger boils over.
कोई कभी आया है आपकी मदद करने?
कोई नहीं आया है।
Most of them say they have been neglected and left to fend for themselves because they belong to the minority community.
देखिए यहाँ गटर लाइन आज हम 10 साल से यहाँ रहते हैं और ऐसी गंदगी में रहते हैं। पानी की भी इतनी समस्या, ये रोड के ऊपर से चौमासे में ये फुटे बराबर पानी होता है, 1 महीना तक पानी नहीं सूखता, लेकिन कोई यहाँ पे नहीं आता। खबर लेने वाला नहीं है, दवा में पैसा डालने का हमारे, तो
आप सरकार
दवा में पैसा डालने का हमारे। ये देखो घर के आंगन में कीचड़, एक कूड़िया भरा लिया, मच्छर है घर के अंदर, तुम जाकर देखो इतने बड़े बड़े मच्छर।
Sadly, the Gujarat riots were just the beginning. The beginning, it is claimed, when the seeds of segregation were sown.
Modi has done is that after 2002, talking about development, but development is absolutely exclusive development, not inclusive development, and Muslim areas have been just neglected, just ignored.
Residents of Juhupura point to the huge gulf and discrepancy in the living conditions and infrastructure that exists between Juhupura and Vejalpur. Vejalpur is a colony adjacent to Juhupura with a predominantly majority population and separated by just a road. The difference is as stark between the two colonies as the difference between the religious identity of the people living here. The story of Juhupura repeats itself in other ghettos as well. The first sight that greets as one enters the Jantaru ghetto is the appalling conditions that prevail. Stagnant pools of dirty, stinking water with huge mounds of garbage piled up on the dirt track that doubles up for a road. Even crossing the lane is a problem given the conditions of the road and the ever-present garbage. Flies, mosquitoes, plastic bags clog the narrow lanes.
If Juhupura was bad, Jantaru House, barely 3 kilometers from Barrel Market, is even worse. This is a prime example of callousness and neglect. Garbage and sewage litter the streets, and sewage water has even entered homes, making life extremely difficult for the residents. In many cases, people have left their homes and sought shelter elsewhere, as their homes are now totally unlivable because of the sewage water.
4 साल में इस मकान में रही, लेकिन ये इसका कुछ निकाल आता नहीं है। इसमें गटर का पानी इतना निकलता है कि हम घर में भी नहीं घुस सकते ये इसके अंदर। मतलब ये इसके वजह से हमने ये मकान खाली कर दिया।
Residents say they cannot remember the last time civic authorities paid the area a visit. The anger is palpable, as is the sense of victimization and denial.
गटर लाइन नहीं है, नल नहीं है, कोई चीज की सुविधा नहीं है हमारे।
Jayanarayan Vyas, the Minister of Tourism and Health in the Narendra Modi government, denies any victimization.
It will be wrong to make a sweeping statement that a particular community is not well off for any favor or otherwise by the government. I do admit that there are amenities which need to be improved. I won't deny that there is a need to correct that. But to say that it is a community-led deprivation, I would beg to differ. It's a poverty-led deprivation.
He believes the issue has more to do with urban poverty and bad planning than any bias on the part of the state. In fact, Vyas also blames the residents of these ghettos for choosing Haji Iskar, a Congress councillor, over the BJP's Mohammad Saeed, a former DGP of Gujarat.
The reason is you must have somebody who is competent.
But there are others who do not have such a benign view of things. They point to the rapid transport system, which is one of the things that Chief Minister Narendra Modi cites as one of the main achievements of his government in its third term. Yet not one of it runs through any of these ghettos.
By nature, it may not be discriminatory, but so far as the implementation of schemes and projects and programs of development are concerned, the underlying assumption is this, that don't develop the minorities. That is the underlying assumption. And therefore, you may be seeing some of the persons aligning with the BJP, those who are from minorities, particularly Muslims, but they are being rejected by the Muslims themselves.
However, one thing that even Narendra Modi's critics cannot take away from him is the development work that has taken place ever since he has become the Chief Minister. However, what also clearly stands out is the extreme polarization that has taken place between communities and the breakdown of its social fabric. Evident, for example, in polarization of residential colonies on communal lines. Over the last decade, minority ghettos have mushroomed across the states, especially in and around Ahmedabad, where it has become next to impossible to find urban residential areas with mixed communities.
Post 2002, there has been a big divide which has come in, and it's been induced in such a manner that these communities staying together in the city for so long are now preferring to stay separately because of this communal divide.
This is a tale of two different Gujarats. One is the picture-perfect poster child of economic prosperity, which Mr. Narendra Modi never fails to showcase. And the other is the ugly, neglected Gujarat, which lives segregated in its ghettos without access to basic amenities or infrastructure. And if Mr. Narendra Modi's claims of speaking for all of 6 crore Gujaratis is to ring true, then he will have to demonstrate that his vision of development encompasses all sections of Gujarati society.
Crafted by Mr. Modi himself.
मैं अपने विचारों में बहुत पक्का हूं, मैं सही दिशा में हूं, देश में विकास यही एक रास्ता है, मेरा कन्विक्शन है। मैं मानता हूं सब दुखों के लिए एक ही दवाई है, एक ही जड़ी बूटी है, और वो जड़ी बूटी है विकास। आज चारों तरफ गुजरात के विकास की चर्चा हो रही है। गुजरात प्रगति कर रहा है।
परेशान है, दलित बस्तियां परेशान है, माइनॉरिटी विस्तार परेशान है।
सरकार की तरफ से ना पानी आता है, ना गटर लाइन नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं है यहाँ पे।
क्या हम आपको बता नहीं सकते कि किस कदर हम यहाँ रह रहे हैं?
कभी चीफ मिनिस्टर आते ही नहीं, वो बातें तो बड़ी करते हैं।
वो इस एरिया में इतने दुखी है कि यहाँ तो कोई हॉस्पिटल तो है नहीं, तो वो लोगों को कहाँ सुविधा मिलेगी?
There is a no gutter line, there is a no road here.
That, for the world, is the story of a vibrant Gujarat. Robust, developed and healthy. It is often said that it is easy to build a state, but difficult to build a people. Nobody doubts that Narendra Modi pioneered the building up the chimera of a successful Gujarat. But at least some of the people of his state have a different take on his claims. They say that in Gujarat, It is Gujarat versus Gujarat. It is Gujarati versus Gujarati. And a perception of right and wrong is divided along lines of religious ethnicity. Accusers say that this divide has been But in Gujarat, the story is different, often withheld from the outside world. It is a story that started 10 years back, the story of silent segregation.
गंदे लोग पानी पी रहे हैं, गरीब बस्तियां